Hello, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to sew a stylish bustier dress with a gathered sleeve. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. So first, here is my pattern and I've gone ahead to cut it out, and if you haven't seen the drafting video, please go ahead and watch that. So now I ironed light wording on my fabric. So this is a doll face that I had in the house, so I went ahead to cut this light wording on it to pad it, but if you want to use a backup or a thicker wording, go ahead to do that. So I'll go ahead to stitch this with 1/2 inch, but before doing that I'm going to be ironing the wording on my fabric very well, and I'll go ahead to stitch the other side also with 1/2 inch. So after I'm done, I'm going to go ahead to iron open my seam allowance this way, and I'll also iron the other part of it. Go ahead to make sure you iron it open and also notch it. So after I was done ironing, this is what I have. I'll go ahead to iron the front part of the dress also. So this is the back piece and I have 4 back piece here, so I'll be joining this with 1/2 inch. In case you don't understand how we got this 4 back piece, please go ahead and watch our drafting tutorial. So after I was done joining, so now this is the organza that I got for the ruffle part, and I bought only 1 yard. I was thinking it was going to be enough. So when you're buying yours, go ahead to buy about 2 yards. So I folded the organza into 2 this way, and so after folding it, I'm going to fold it again. So I want to achieve like a double effect of this. So when I was making mine, I realized that my organza wasn't enough, so I had to slit it into 2 again. So first, there are 2 ways of going about this ruffle on the shoulder. Is either you use the slash and spread method, or you can just multiply what you have on the neckline of the dress, that is on the bustier part, by 3 inches. So if you're using a slash and spread method, you're going to place your pattern on your material this way and measure about any distance of your choice, place, and you're going to go ahead to trace it out. But to make this way easier, I'm just going to use the method of multiplying what I have by 3 inches. So this is the front yoke that I cut into 4. So first we are going to measure the depth of our neckline. So when we drafted this pattern, we had about 7 inches. So after measuring that out, you're going to also bring your back yoke and you're going to measure what you have there. So we have about 6.5 inches, and 6.5 plus 7 inches, that should be about 13.5 inches. So, or you can go ahead to place the front yoke and the back yoke together this way, and you're going to measure. So after you're done measuring, you're going to cut out your fabric. So the length of your fabric should be about 13.5 inches plus your sewing allowance of 1/2 inch on both sides. That will be giving you 14.5. So you can decide to add 1 inch to it to have ease on the shoulder, because if you notice, the shoulder is not fitted at, is not too tight or fitted. So I'll go ahead and cut out the excess, and I will go ahead to slit what I have into 2. So after cutting, this is what I have, and if you notice, is on fold. So I'll go ahead and run a stitch at the end of the fabric. So if you measure at one side, I have about approximately 8 inches. I have 8 inches, making it 16. So if you notice, it's not fitted at the shoulder. So I'll go ahead and fold the edges of my fabric, and I'll go ahead to iron it out. Repeat it on the other side. After you're done doing that, you're going to pick one part of the fabric and you're going to measure the half of each part. That is 16 divided by 2. You have about 8 inches. So you're going to be drawing a line at the center, and I'm going to insert elastic at the center of this dress, because if you notice, you're going to insert elastic at the center of your fabric. So when you're inserting this elastic, you're going to measure like your shoulder and you're going to add few inches to it. So I've gone ahead to sew elastic at the center of my shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead to attach this. To attach this, I'm going to take one end and I'm going to place, and I'll go ahead to stitch. So I'm going to pleat this till I get to the part that is going to stop. So when we are cutting out this pattern, remember that we measured the neckline of this front piece. So I had about 8 inches there, and you're going to mark that 8 inches. So in case you don't remember how we got the 8 inches, you're going to go ahead to measure the neckline of your yoke this way, and I have 8 inches. So you're going to also measure that 8 inches, and that is where you stop pleating the ruffle or sewing the gathers to your dress. And you're going to start pleating this from the center of your dress, and go ahead to repeat it till you get to the end of your fabric, sorry, to the end of that 8 inches that you marked. I'm happy that say everything I do is for my woman. Anything I talk where you talk, I go do. So after I was done sewing, this is what I have, and you're going to repeat this for the other side also. So now you're going to be turning it with your lining, and for the lining part I iron thick gum stay to it. So I'll go ahead to stitch up the neckline, and I will turn the yoke part of this dress inside this way, and I'll stitch it all the way around, then go down to the end, stitch inside, and I'm going to stitch at the lower part this way, and after that I'm going to stitch at the other side also. Just follow the shape of what you have. So at one end I'm going to be leaving a space there, and then stitch up the rest of the pattern. So after stitching, this is what I have, and you notice that I left one part. So I'll go ahead and notch my pattern round, and I will be turning it from that space that I have. So after I'm done turning, the next step is to go ahead and sew the back pattern to it. So I'm going to go ahead to pick up the back pattern, and I will place it this way, and also place the right side facing the right side. So now I'm going to go ahead to measure the zipper allowance, which is 1 inch, and after measuring my zipper allowance, I'll be adding ½ inch, which is for turn up, and I'll go ahead to notch that will be 1.5 inches, ½ inch for turn up and 1 inch for zipper allowance. So after that I'm going to measure the back neckline, which is also 8 inches, and I will also notch that point. So I'll place this ruffle, and I will gather it starting from this point down to the back neckline this way. You're going to gather it, and after you're done gathering it, you're going to stitch and repeat it at the other side. Go ahead and mark the 1.5 inches and measure 8 inches also, and sew. So after I was done sewing, this is what I have. So I'm going to be turning this up with the lining of the dress. To turn it up with the lining, I'm just going to go ahead to place it on it this way, and I'm going to stitch. So when you're stitching, you're going to go ahead to tuck in what you have, that is the dress inside one part, because you're going to go ahead to run a stitch from the lower part this way with ½ inch, stitch up the neckline with ½ inch, and then go ahead to stitch the side also. So when you're stitching the side of this dress, you're going to be leaving some space there where you'll be using to turn this to the right side. So when you're stitching, just like I said, this whole dress will be inside this back pattern. So this is what I have, and after I'm done stitching, I'll just go ahead to notch it all the way around for it to sit very well. So after that, I'll go ahead to turn it to the right side this way, and this is what I have after turning it out. So I'll go ahead and repeat the same process at the other side. So from that side, I'm just going to the side I used in turning it, I'll also fold it and top stitch it. So at the other side, I'm going to go ahead to repeat the same process on it, place my lining on it, and I'm going to be turning it to the right side with my lining. So after I'm done stitching, this is what I have, and next we're going to go ahead to pin up the zipper allowance. I'm going to pin it up so that I'm going to shape the dress, and after that I'll go ahead to attach my zipper to it. So after pinning this up, I'll go ahead and mark that 1 inch for my zipper allowance, and after I'm done marking it, I will go ahead and repin my dress so that it will be exactly on that 1 inch mark. And after I'm done pinning, I'm going to go ahead to shape my dress. So this is what I have, and I'm going to place it together, and also go ahead to pin down your dress, and you're going to insert your body measurement. But if you're sure that you turned your dress with 1/2 inch exactly, all you're going to do is just to go ahead and mark 1 inch on both sides, because I added 1.5 inches sewing allowance. By the time you use 1/2 inch to turn it to the right side, you'll be left with 1 inch. So at the upper part, after measuring, I had about 20 inches, and my bust is 33 divided by 2. That's about 16.5. So if you take out 16.5 from 20, you'll be left with 3.5. I shared it and marked 1.75 on top, and at the rest of my pattern I marked 1 inch. Getting to the waistline, you're going to slant it a little to the lower part of your dress this way, and on this point I'll go ahead and mark that same 1.75 on top, and I'll mark 1 inch at the rest of my pattern. So after the waist, I'm just going to slant it with 1/2 inch down. So after I was done shaping, this is what I have, and next I'll go ahead to insert zipper to the back of my dress. So when I was recording, I didn't realize that my camera didn't get the full video of the dress, but with this we have come to the end of today's tutorial, and I've gone ahead to attach the zip to the dress.